Traditions and customs are national treasure. Kazakh people observe traditions over many centuries. The Great Steppe is an amulet of the country. You can watch the customs and traditions of the Kazakhs in the Modern Nomads program. Kazakhs and horses are deeply connected, and Kazakhs knew all the traditions of horse breeding art. The horses should graze 10 to 15 days with the arrival of spring, especially when the first greens have grown. Fresh grass is a real cure for the cattle. I used to keep the horses and went to the mountains for 15 to 20 days and let them pasture among the fresh grasses. Then I caught the horses. The food should be given at the same time. You should not give too much food. It should be strictly observed the norm of the food. When the horse finds the right shape, it gets used to the schedule and it can participate in the races. A horse has been a partner for the Kazakhs for centuries. Horses can be a transport and milk is a drink. Our ancestry saved his land with the help of horses. The horses have different types and kinds. The specialist of horses divided them into several types. They grew horses, dividing them for meat and milk, races, hunting, and for different parties. A good jumper is the dream of any Kazakh. The Kazakhs learned how to keep livestock and they engaged in agriculture from one place to another. In the century of the development of education and science, there are some people who still keep livestock and sow bread based on the steppe science. The most difficult one is horse breeding, but the horse is close to the soul of the Kazakhs. Today our program is dedicated to the horse breeding art. This art achieved its own result in the history of the Kazakh nation. Taking care is not easy. In ancient times, horses were fed with camel's milk. People should be around the horse every time. The people of Jitisu region were not able to take care of the horses. I saw other places where people took care of the horses. A fat horse is in its good shape. As they say, the horse in a good shape always wins the race. The skin is graded, it doesn't have extra meat. This is the criticism of a horse in a good shape. Every region of our country have their own methods of taking care of horses. I think we are the best horse breeders who know all the opportunities to keep the horse in a good condition. The trainer rides, sets off a trot, gallops and cools. The horse should run once a week for 40 or 50 kilometers, but they are able to run only 5 to 10 kilometers. It also jumped longer. Now it is being trained for the Kazakh race. The skin of the horse can have white foam. A horse which is ready shouldn't have foam on its skin. Narken Kalibekov is an experienced horse breeder. He knew his work very well. Critical attitude is a peculiarity of the Kazakh horse specialist. Competent specialists could recognize from the foal. They could not only recognize the horse but also join it into the race. Recognizing a jumper is a great art. Competent horse specialists trained horses paying attention to its standing, because each horse needs special care. The foal horse train starts. When he was 2 years old, the foal grows to the kunan. The foals should be trained with other 2-year-olds. This tradition is called as acquaintance with the land. In the 3rd year, they are castrated and sent to the jailao. When the foals achieved 5 years old, the horse breeder left them for races. Now training horses is an ages-old entertainment of the Kazakhs. The experts didn't tame the promising racing horses early. The future champions roam free, unsaddled, and harnessless. At the age of 5, the hopefuls are passed on to old patient masters of training. The experienced trainers treat the horses well and avoid physical force while practicing. The animals are just like kids. If raised with love and attention, they grow into beautiful, noble arikhmachs. No good results come from strict, stubborn, impatient trainers. They will turn any horse into a skin. A horse should be only hereditary. If the foals are noticed, then they surround with special care. They are not allowed to stay with other horses, because they can kick. As a result, they can become disabled. It is better to hold them separately and then start to train. After 5 to 6 months, you can allow them to participate in the race. Shilao ter, or wet sweat, the name of clean sweat. The only thing to do for the horse's skin is it should be cleaned. The clean horse will not have any smell on the skin. There are 3 types of sweat. One of the Kazakh traditions was to train a horse. We can recognize a good horse paying attention to its skin. Can't stand on one place. We can know by it that the horse is in good shape. The skin becomes bright. This is a horse which runs for 15 kilometers and was cooled. Today it is playing it can't stand on one place. This is the horse which is ready for the race. It is good if the horse drinks much water, but a day before the race the horse doesn't drink much itself. It rinses its mouth and swallows only 5 times. The condition of the horse which is trained every day will get sweat. First, the white perspiration as foam is expelled. This is the original salty sweat of the horse. Then the sweat will be expelled. At the end, the horse will have pure sweat. There are differences between the horse which skin was cleaned and the other one which was not cleaned. The body of the horse with dry and clean skin probably will say as it's ready for a race. The cleaned horse also could breathe wide, and the horse which is not cleaned is a sleepy man. I try to explain you the difference. It is necessary to allow the horse to cool down. Also, to find out the condition of the horse, there are horses which run for long distances, and for short distances as well. The horse should train according to the power and distance. Horses are not allowed to run many kilometers without reason. The horse should run distances depending on its power. The experts gather around and evaluate each and every horse's individuality. This one is reserved, and another seemed the harness loose. The third is very good at something. Most importantly, these gatherings allow for the exchange of knowledge and experience. The ready, trained horse wants itself to participate in the race, as it became impatient. The horse's character became sensitive and meek. The wool became shiny, glossy with fat as a beaver's skin. The horse, usually wary, does not like noise. It sleeps restlessly, uttering a quiet neigh for a long time. This is a sign that the horse is already ready for the race, as it is trained. There were sayings as, will horse run or will success help for run? And Kazakh people had told, what is lucky on the race, success or luck? It is the right question, as horse breeders should train the horse to the horse races. Usually the race horses are fed with oats. The wheat will be heavy for them. And lucranin plant is also preferable. Usually the food of the horse is clean and juicy grass. The alfalfa is clinging to the fork. The smell breaks the aorta. The worker who is preparing for the winter has collected a lot of grass. Both of them are good for the horses. Now the weather is hot, and there are differences of food for each season. Winter is cold and horses should eat 5 kilograms of feed. As summertime, they should eat less, 3 kilograms of feed. There are some people who gave wheats and joined them to the race. It is a big mistake, as the horse will not be able to run who is fed with wheat. The horse is surely the most wonderful, the wisest, most faithful and hardworking creature, accompanying humans throughout their historical development. Every year the horse participated in Baige race and received prizes there. Such kinds of horses usually eat green grass. When the horse breeders notice the character of their horse, they start to train them for racing. They herd their horses in the pasture lands, in the morning to the west, afternoon to the south, and evening to the east. Breeding horses is one substantial part of the Kazakh nation. Alaman, Kokpar, Baige are the games played by the youth atop horses. Meticulously bred and selected, the Kazakh horses become faster than wind, wieldier than water, and finer than women. Every rider picks a horse to his liking. The artistic kinds pick argamaks, purebred noble racing horses, while the rich and entitled rode jorgas, graceful amblers, and single young women embellish the steppe with their snow whites. All this knowledge was carefully collected and passed on since the dawn of time. Then the horses join the race, and the horses running the hinges themselves. They're good names. A long time ago I had 2 horses. In the early morning I gave their feed and saddled them. They did not eat their food. In this way the horses prepared for the race. There are some horses who eat a lot of food. The horses are clever. They're close to the humans. I was horse breeding for a long time. We used to ride a horse before. It has been 31 years as I worked as a horse breeder. My children, grandchildren, my great-grandchildren are able to ride horses. All of them are riders. Another aspect of horse breeding depends on the breed of the horse. Any animal, whether it is a horse or something else, needs human love. We are nomads. We've grown up riding horses. The Kazakhs say, after a time riding a horse, it means after becoming conscious. The horse feels you if you are scared or not. They think the same as we do. They can recognize people well. Not everyone is able to be engaged in horse breeding. If the horse is overlooked, it is your enemies. If the horse whistles, it means the wind. It is not also easy to feed them. In the winter they are overlooked and they can move away up to 200 kilometers.
Atlı minezi tukumuna байланысты. Мысалы, мына біздің ең жылқының жақсы ангелс дейміз. Ангелс жылқы өте жақсы жылқы.
An English horse is close to the humans. They are well enough trained. They do not have a quality of biting or kicking people, as they are very clever. Constantly they are fast and with dignity. There are Akhal Tikia horses and absinthe horses. The absinthe horse is very clever and could dance. They can be trained easily. The shape of their heart is large and the lungs are wide. As the heart of this breed, the horse is strong. The muscles of their legs are not able to move. And now we talk about the Kazakh horse, as we named it Aday horse. These horses have a different character, as they pasture in the steppe. That's why they are different.
Ал енді өте-мөте мына қазақ жылқымыз, адай жылқысы дейміз. Ол жылқылардың мінезі басқаша болады. Ол неге десең, табиғи көбінесе жерде жүреді, қолда тұрмайды.
A trainer should be an expert and should love the horse. It is true, a person who really loves a horse can prepare for a horse race. The horse is useful for the health of people. There is a saying as, a good horse will take a decease of a guy who is on a horse. That's why horse trainers will choose a good horse, then will train it. During the race, he seems to communicate with the horse, and he is able to control the horse's every jump and run on the racing. He is on the ride of an experienced rider. The children of the steppes, Kazakhs, lived a peaceful nomadic life and attached every aspect of it to the vast land's whims. Everything in between, the sky and the earth, the flora and fauna, nooks and crannies of the land and mountains found symbolic manifestation in the traditions. That is why when one nomad says, the image of the boundless steppe crossed by a horse come to mind. Knowing horses is a discipline which is in the blood of Kazakhs. Boys who will be future riders from the early ages are taught to saddle and ride a horse. It is necessary to show how to ride. Some of them can get afraid of the horse runs, while others are able to jump from the horses. Besides training the horse for the race, there is a steppe science as atin sini. It is a definition as the virtues of a horse and its breed. The great poet Abay Kunanbayev described the signs of the real racer, and critics have also distinguished as this type of horse has a narrow head and is not fleshy, with the straight, thin ears and large eyes, and with a stumpy body. The tail and mane are not thick. The ribs and chest are wide and vertebral. Powerful. Walking is attractive and it jumps fast. It looks gentle, but it is enduring for a long way. It is the horse of a race, and people told in ancient times such a horse will never let itself catch up.
Men biletiğine attım bakaya öte uzun bolmağı gerek.
Bakai is a very long white bone. If the white bone is very long, the legs of the horses can limp. And horses with a short white bone are able to move quickly. A horse should have a three-dimensional abdomen and wide ribs with a short back. The horse's femur should be large and wide, his chest. Some horses have a long neck, high growth, thin, long legs as sticks. Such horses will not be good racers, as this type of horse will not have enough power to run. And if the chest of the horse is wide and high, then such a horse is very good. The sides of such horses should be wide. The head of the horse should be beautiful. It should not be massive. Cheekbones should be wide. Let's have a look at the horse's jaw. Here, two cheeks near the jaw must be wide.
Onu koymana iki büyür, keng bol gerek. Attın bası edemi bol gerek, bası etli bolmak gerek. Jağı keng bol gerek, miner kol salamız. Sonu koymana ağzı ötüsü iki orta keng bol gerek.
The ethnographer Jagda Babalik-Uli wrote, "The history of Kazakhs is the story of the horses." We have known from these words as Kazakhs and the horses are related from one concept. An elder man, not kin, for a long time worked as a horse breeder and was fond of training horses. All the time he was among the horses. Currently, he is one of the great horse breeders who lives in the village of Dijiris at the foot of the mountain Alatau. He can train any horse in a traditional way to achieve the ideal preparation. He prepared a lot of horses which competed in different races. My two horses never lost until they became old, and when they got old they started to come second from the race. As a rule, I have won first places all the time. These two horses galloped far away and close. These horses were descendants of purebred horses. Their mother is a Khaltiki horse, the father is a horse of the English breed. I kept both of them until their old age. I had many horses. I named one of them Tulpar, the second was named as Yelik. I was a herdsman. I took care of the horses. When the horses foaled, I even slept among them. Sometimes managers would come and ask, how many fowls and which number? And I knew all the numbers. We usually put on the horse's pelvis a sign with nitrogen. I can say without seeing it, this is a fowl from that horse. That mare gave birth to this fowl. I also told them, please look at the number if you do not believe me. The numbers are coincided all the time. It showed his consciousness completely connected with his profession. Subsequently, to train the horse is a hobby of a horse breeder. It is a great scientific art of the Kazakh people to train the horse for racing. In ancient time, people who trained the horse for the fire of the steppe and for the water and wind. A racing horse should not be too fat or thin. The horse should be postured in the spring with the snowy water. In the summer period, they will not walk under the sun. In the autumn will be trained for the muscles of the horse. Wintertime will be fed with grasses. There is not an animal that can replace a horse for a Kazakh, as the horses are an ornament of the steppe. The good horse is an ornament of a jigit, wings of an alaman by Egea.
Al endi menim mına özümden jasıma qaray, özüme qaray layıqta ustab жүрген atım.
This is my horse, constantly for my age. I should not say it's a bad horse. Here are permanent teeth, if you would like to have a look at them. These are his cheekbones. The chest is wide, what helps to breathe wide as well. The white bones are low and they are not long. The withers of my horse is medium height, which is preferred, as high withers make it difficult to fit a saddle and are often associated with a narrow chest, and low withers do not provide a ridge to help keep the saddle in place. Stable, wide, it's convenient for me, so I ride it. There is a saying, the animal has the same character as its host. The nature of my horse is very suitable for me, and my horse used to be with me since the foal age. Currently, I am not able to ride a large horse as before, and I am not able to jump. I am 85 years old. This is my horse and my hobby. Customs and traditions are an invaluable heritage of the nation. Customs and traditions, the wealth which come to us from the ancient centuries. They are the spiritual component of the nation and the next generations. The idea of our President Nursultan Nazarbayev starts with the following saying, A glance to the future is spiritual modernization. Every person should know the customs and traditions of their own country.